Hey guys, this is Loud Guys. Today we are going to watch top 10 coldest states to live in America. And this will be very chilling video.
I'm already suffering from cold.
Yes.
It will be very tough to watch this.
Very, very cold video. Because in India we don't suffer that much cold. And
You
where
know,
I
have
live...
seen...
No.
You want to say?
No, no.
Okay, you first.
No. Where I live, where we live, it is not much cold in here.
No, it's not that much cold here. But I've seen one video in that I saw that there's a, coldest place in Russia somewhere. There's, village that is the coldest place on this earth.
Yeah, but I've seen there are a lot of places because like I saw a video where he was pouring coke and the coke froze.
Even I saw that the eyelashes were frozen.
Yeah. But I don't think so that happens in America, or it might happen. So
I think Canada is much colder compared
yes,
to
Canada is much colder because it is on the higher side now.
Okay.
So yes, so we will see which are the 10 coldest states to live in America, and like I will prefer not to go because I am someone that gets cold very often. So let's see this video.
We've covered the warmest states in America, and now you might be wondering, where in the U.S. is it the coldest?
Wow,
This looks
is
awesome.
The places
It just
where
looks
winter
awesome.
seems eternal, where there's practically always snow on the ground, and where the locals' idea of summer is 60 degrees and cloudy. Well,
What is
today
60
on
degrees
Across the
Fahrenheit?
Globe, we're going to be looking at the top 10 coldest states in
60
America.
degrees Fahrenheit.
Number 10, Michigan. Michigan's position in the northern part of the United States makes it prone enough to cold temperatures, but add in
15
lake
degrees.
effect
15
weather,
degrees.
Oh,
and
that is still
you've
too
got a
cold.
recipe for one of the coldest states in the country. The temperatures here average 45.3 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh.
For some context, let's
I
look at
understand
some
in
of the
Fahrenheit,
warmest
I understand in
states and
Celsius.
their average temperatures. These are Florida and Hawaii, which have
Hawaii.
average annual temperatures of about 71.5 and 70 degrees respectively.
Wow,
So,
that is about 15,
Michigan's
20 degrees
average
Celsius.
annual temperature is a whopping 26 plus degrees below that. And while the average lows in January may be in the double digits at about 17 degrees, let's not forget about that lake effect weather. In fact, if you look at a map of Michigan, you might notice that it's surrounded by lakes. Great Lakes, to be exact. These include Lake Superior, Lake Michigan, Lake Huron, and Lake Erie.
So many
And
lakes.
while these may make for fun beach and boating days in the summer, in the winter, it means one thing: cold. Number 9,
Very cold.
New Hampshire.
New Hampshire.
Did you know that New Hampshire
Wow.
gets the most snow
Just
out
wow.
of any other state in the U.S.? That's right. New Hampshire gets an average of over 174 inches of
It's
snow
like heaven.
each year. And while you might feel cold just thinking about all of that snow, if you happen to find yourself in New Hampshire during the winter months, you'll likely be pretty cold too. Average annual temperatures in the Granite State are about 44.2 degrees Fahrenheit. And in New Hampshire's state
10
capital,
degrees?
Concord, winter months see single digits. And elsewhere in the state,
Single digit.
it can get even colder. On Mount Washington's summit, for instance, there was a negative 108 degree wind chill recorded in recent months. Of course, most people aren't hanging out at the top of 6,000 plus
course.
foot Mount Washington on a daily basis. So even if you live here, this probably doesn't apply to you. But even so, in parts of northern New Hampshire, it's not uncommon for winter temperatures to hit below zero.
And nobody would come out.
Number 8, Idaho.
Idaho.
Idaho's average annual temperature is a balmy 44 degrees Fahrenheit. And yes, I'm saying balmy sarcastically.
Yeah, the
Plus,
fog.
the temperatures here fluctuate wildly. According to the Western Regional Climate Center, temperatures in Boise, Idaho's capital, have been known to hit lows of negative 60 degrees in the winter and highs of 118 degrees in the summer. Of course, temperature swings in Idaho aren't always as dramatic as these records, but they are pretty intense nonetheless. For instance, the average coldest month in Boise is negative 20 degrees, and the average warmest month is 104 degrees. Number 7, Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin's
It's very
average
chilly.
annual temperature, for instance, 44 degrees Fahrenheit. In Madison, Wisconsin's capital, this means winters in the single digits and summers barely peaking at 80 degrees. In other words, You'll probably be inside most of the year if you live here, unless you're a real winter lover. And while the state overall
Not that
doesn't
big of
get
a
as
real
much
winter
snow
lover.
as places like New Hampshire, some areas get nearly as much. Take northern Wisconsin, for instance. In this part of the state, especially near Lake Superior, winters can see nearly 160 inches of snow.
What?
Let me break
160
down the math
inches?
for you. That's over 13
That is too
feet
much,
of
huh?
snow each year. In
Wow.
fact, the snow is such a fixture of life in Wisconsin that residents of Madison even gave their snowplows a name as part of a citywide contest. I guess the thinking is that if you see a snowplow that often, you might as well have a name for it. Number 6, Vermont.
Vermont.
Vermont is widely considered one of the coldest states in the US and also one of the states with the longest winters. Apparently, the
Longest.
average yearly temperature here is only about 43 degrees year round. If you remember our Florida and Hawaii comparisons, where annual temperatures are nearly 30 degrees above that, I bet you can visualize how cold this state gets.
Wow.
The state of Vermont is considered the third snowiest state in the entire
80
country,
inches of
getting
snow.
an average of 80.2 inches of snow
That is too
each
much.
year. Remember, that's the average across the
I don't think
entire
the Indian
state.
states get
So
this much.
some towns in Vermont get far more than that. Winter also seems kind of eternal. Snow usually hits the ground in November, though it's also been known to arrive as early as October and generally
Until
last through
April.
March or even into April. So on a normal year, you might be
Like
looking
even in
at
the
5
summer,
months of
the
snowy
summer
winter,
season begins.
and on the high end, 7 months.
So don't you have rainy
All this
season?
means that Vermonters spend approximately half of
And
their
they have
lives
autumn.
in the snow.
We don't
And
have
if you
autumn.
live here, being cold just becomes a way of life. Number 5, Wyoming.
Wyoming.
Did you know that Wyoming has the second highest elevation out of any
hearing
other
it for the
state in the
first
US? That's right. Wyoming comes second to only Colorado at an average elevation of 6,700 feet
so it
above
has a lot
sea
of
level
mountains.
versus Colorado's 6,800. I know what you're thinking. What does this have to do with the cold? Well, because of Wyoming's elevation, this state can get chilly. In fact, average temperatures here are only about 42.3 degrees Fahrenheit. In many areas, summer temperatures are only around 50 to 60 degrees. I don't know about you, but that doesn't really sound like hang by the pool kind of weather to me. And the winters
not
are
good.
far, far worse. The coldest month in Wyoming is January, in which temperatures typically hover around 5 to 10 degrees Fahrenheit. And the
Oh
coldest
my
temperature
God.
ever recorded in Wyoming
going to be
was in
minus maybe,
1933 when the
Ah,
thermometer
Lord.
hit negative 66 degrees.
Oh.
Number 4, Maine. New Englanders have a reputation for being a tough, hardy
Looks
bunch,
so
and
beautiful.
I'm pretty sure the people in Maine have contributed significantly to that opinion. Because unlike tourists who flock to Maine's beaches for the summer months, you've got to be pretty tough to live in this freezing state year-round. That's right, Maine is cold. The average annual temperature in Maine is only 41.9 degrees Fahrenheit,
It is getting
making
colder
it by
and colder.
far one of the chilliest states in America. And in
Can you swim
2009,
in
the
that
coldest
water? No.
temperature was recorded near the town of Allagash in northern Maine. Drum roll, please. This temperature was negative 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Also, Maine is the second snowiest state in the U.S., receiving an
Minus 50
average of 92 inches
feeling
of snow
cold.
each year. Number 3, Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Wisconsin's neighbor, Minnesota, shares more than just a border with the Badger State. It also shares some pretty cold weather and long-lasting winter. If you've ever been to Minnesota, you might have noticed that parking garages
so
are
satisfying.
frequently heated. That's not just because it makes for a pleasant
They have
experience
heating
when you get
garages.
out of your car in the winter. It's done out of necessity because,
Oh, wow.
according to a Minneapolis-based automotive shop, the freezing cold in Minnesota is enough
Can
to
kill your
completely
battery.
kill your car's battery. And by freezing temperatures, I'm talking about sub-zero temperatures.
Oh.
The average winter temperature in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area can reach lows of negative 13 degrees in January, with highs
This
in
is
the single
average.
digits. But wind chill is where it gets really bad. In 2006, a storm tore through the Twin Cities that resulted in the coldest wind chill ever seen in the area. The temperature? Negative 34 degrees Fahrenheit. And again,
On your
that's
birthday.
just in the Minneapolis-St. Paul region. Go further north, and you might find temperatures that are even colder. Thief River Falls, for instance, a city in northwestern Minnesota,
Oh, is that a
received
river?
one of the coldest wind chills ever seen,
look like-
where temperatures hit a record negative 54 degrees. Do you get the heated parking garages now? Number 2, North Dakota.
North
It's
Dakota.
probably no surprise
Dakota
that North
Johnson.
Dakota is high up on this list. After all, North Dakota is one of the northernmost points on the continental United States,
Number
aside
one would
from
be Alaska.
Of course, this means cold, with average annual temperatures here of only 41.4 degrees Fahrenheit. According to the state of North Dakota, winters here can get pretty brutal. Think winter from November to March, 3 to 4 severe winter storms every year, and freezing temperatures and frigid winds. In Fargo, for instance, January sees average lows of about negative 2 degrees. Daytime highs, meanwhile, are only about 16 degrees. Still well below freezing. And when it
Well
comes to
below.
the summer months, there's not too much relief there either. In July, North Dakota's warmest month, Fargo sees temperatures peak at about 80 degrees, while lows are around 60.
Still 15
and
degrees.
those frigid winds I mentioned? The coldest one on record was negative 74 degrees in January of 1936. You heard that right. Negative 74 degrees. I don't know
minus
about you,
100, no?
but
Too
I'm
much,
getting
too
cold
much,
just
huh?
thinking about that. Number 1,
Alaska.
Alaska.
Yes.
Alaska is top on our list of coldest states in the US. And as the northernmost state in the
It looks
US,
so beautiful.
that shouldn't come as much of a surprise. But you
want to
might
see
be
sunset.
surprised to learn just how cold it gets. The average annual temperature in Alaska is about 28 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh.
Yep, you heard that right. Only 28 degrees. In southern and coastal Alaska, which typically see milder weather, summer temperatures usually peak around 60 degrees, while
4 to
winters
15
can
degrees.
see anywhere from 0 degrees to negative 30
Minus
degrees
80 to
Fahrenheit.
minus
To me,
35.
that sounds
Minus
cold
35
enough.
degrees.
But if you can believe it, that's practically sunbathing weather compared to parts of northern Alaska. A city in the Fairbanks region of northern Alaska is one of the coldest areas in the state. Appropriately
Wow.
named North Pole, this city sees winter temperatures hovering around negative 14 degrees. Though it can
It looks
dip
beautiful.
all the way down to negative 40 degrees.
Oh,
So,
We had a hard time calculating from Fahrenheit to Celsius because
because I only understand in Celsius.
yes, but then we took our calculator
We
out,
Googled
and this is very cold. This is very very cold. Like minus 60 is about minus 50 degrees Celsius.
This
I've
is
never heard that.
extreme.
Yes, never heard that in India. And even like the average temperature is 43 degrees Fahrenheit. That is just 5 to 7 degrees.
Maybe.
That is too cold. Like where I live, here 15-16 degrees is the coldest.
I think last year we had experienced around 12 to 14 degrees Celsius.
And that is too cold for us.
Yeah, too cold. I was like, I don't want to get out of my home. Please, I just want to stay inside my blanket.
Yes, no snow, nothing, 0
Nothing.
degrees, nothing at all. And you guys are just seeing snow and snow everywhere. It looks beautiful,
It looks beautiful.
but I know it is not for
I've
sure.
never seen, frozen sort of beaches. Have you seen it?
No,
It's so amazing,
but
frozen sort
yes,
of.
there was one place you were saying, no, the lakes get frozen. I don't think the sea can get frozen, but the lake
No,
can
but
get frozen.
that rocks.
That, yeah. It would be very, all the other things were also very mesmerizing to see.
But it looks so beautiful, to be honest.
So, yes.
Apart from that cold.
How did you guys find this video? Do let us know in the comment section below. So do like, share, and
Subscribe.
Bye.
Bye.